Bagwín le príomhara an réaltais agus an tAire Stáit Gaeltachta Sport agus Cosanta, Jack Chambers TD. Ladies and gentlemen, Government Chief Whip and Minister of State for Sport, the Gaeltacht and Defence, Jack Chambers TD.
Is honor war domsa van showing you email memuli chunde Roscommon Harkian and Realtas don Comóradh Stáit seo Ócáid Comóradh Náisiúnta an Ghorta Mhóir fihe do agus farm Féach falsa roiv illa. It is a great honour for me to welcome you to this year's National Famine Commemoration in Strokestown on behalf of the Chair of the National Famine Commemoration Committee, Minister Catherine Martin TD. I'm especially pleased to welcome an Taoiseach Micheál Martin TD, who will lead the official representation during today's event and whose keynote address will precede the wreath-laying ceremony. I would also like to welcome His Excellency Archbishop Jude Thaddeus Okolo, Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, the Cathaoirleach of Roscommon County Council Joe Murphy, Jim Callery, the founder of the National Famine Museum, and Claire McGrath, the chair of the Irish Heritage Trust, who will also participate in today's wreath-laying ceremony. A particular word of thanks is due to the board of the Irish Heritage Trust, the Callery family, and all the staff in Strokestown Park House who have put in such effort to maintain Strokestown House and the National Famine Museum as a reservoir of Irish history. The National Famine Commemoration was previously held here in Strokestown Park House in 2014, and it is appropriate that the commemoration returns to this historic site in 2022 as the final preparations for the reopening of the National Famine Museum following major refurbishment are being concluded. I'm pleased to note that this refurbishment has received significant support from Féach, Ireland. The Great Famine was truly the darkest period of our history. Today's ceremony is an opportunity to commemorate and honour the suffering and resilience of victims of the famine years. Recent years have seen a welcome resurgence in interest in the history of the Great Famine among artists of all kinds, while the monumental works of artists such as John Behan and Rowan Gillespie continue to serve as powerful reminders of the past, both in Ireland and abroad. Novels by Marita Conlon McKenna, Joe O'Connor and Paul Lynch have achieved great success. The huge viewership achieved both in Ireland and abroad for the hunger and the recognition afforded the Irish language film Aireacht are further testament to the enduring emotional impact of An Ghorta Mhóir. Both Minister Martin and I were delighted to hear that today's music will be provided by one of our finest musicians, Declan O'Rourke. Declan's 2017 album, Chronicles of the Great Irish Famine, and his novel, The Pawnbroker's Reward, released last year, are among the more recent examples of his long tradition of artists engaging with An Ghorta Mhóir. Indeed, both Declan and Brendan Graham have strong connections with Strokestown House through the Great Famine Voices Roadshow and have themselves published novels set in the famine. However, one cannot talk about artistic engagement with the famine this year without acknowledging the death earlier this year of Pete St. John, whose song The Fields of Athenry was sung at the 2016 commemoration in Glasnevin. Coincidentally, that ceremony also included a reading of the poem Quarantine by one of our great poets, Eamon Boland, who passed away in 2020. While the passing of these great artists is, of course, most keenly felt by their families, their loss is shared by us all. On Minister Martin's behalf, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and sincerely thank the members of the National Famine Commemoration for their great and continuing commitment to ensuring that the Great Famine is commemorated in an appropriate manner each year. In closing, I would especially like to acknowledge the work of the Office of Public Works, the Defence Forces, An Garda Síochána, the staff of the Irish Heritage Trust and Strokestown House, the staff of my own department and all those who have worked on today's engagements. Mar uccal scurb wallam a buíochas sa gabhfuil live illig as sa bheith ag an chairman seo chuna chintiú go cuimh nítear ar os páirteach an Ghorta Mhóir le meas agus le daoine. Gurb maith agaibh.